Hello YouTube, it's me DJ Winza, and as the title of this video suggests, y'all are having lunch with me again. And for me it's like 10:42 a.m. Yeah, I'm just letting it out there that this is pre-recorded and not live. And once again, I have my chopsticks, and once again, I have a nondescript ramen meal. This I actually put together myself rather than, going completely out of one of those giant bowl deal things. But, so hey, you're probably wondering why I decided to go with this format. Well, for a second, if you're someone who's followed me for a while, you notice my background has changed a lot. Since the first episode where I actually had you guys eat with me, I have moved 10 more times. Yeah. I have moved about 11 times total since I left my ex-wife, which was only about 2 months before the first iteration of Lunch with DJ Winza, and it is now over 3 years later. And I've met a lot of people that I consider myself incredibly fortunate that I met them. I'm not going to name names because, well, some people might just want to maintain their anonymity. And yes, I still have my perfect form. 3 years later. Everything's always better when you make it yourself. So, one of the main reasons why I've ended up moving around so much is because even though we're living in a recovering economy, the economy isn't recovering fast enough. After all the damage that was done during the, I don't want to say second depression, but it feels like it. After the recession, that, yeah, this is going to get very socio-political. After what fucking George W. fucking Bush put us through, basically going to war in 2 different countries, essentially on a credit card that the younger generation are going to have to pay off. It's become almost devastatingly difficult to find a decent job. And what makes things really bad is people who currently have jobs say, just go out and get a job. Where? Who's hiring? Please, fucking tell me. I want to know. I've been very fortunate in having the position that I currently have, that I got to transfer from the previous place that had the really cool background with the loot crates and the poke crates and the dolls and stuff. I've been able to carry over the job to where I live now, which is 1 state south of that. And yes, I'm holding a piece of pork right here because I was talking. Hum. Good pork. My compliments to the chef. The pork I used is from leftovers from last night. And this sauteed broccoli, this is actually from their very garden. Actually, out this window. that light source right there, that leads out to their garden, and they grow stuff like broccoli there. So good. I've also been very fortunate in the lovely woman who I am seeing now being willing to take me in. And she's also aiding me in trying to find a better job than the one I was able to travel with. If I stick around with that job and I actually get to a point where I'm working full-time, which is nigh impossible nowadays because every business is more interested in getting as many people to throw at a problem as possible rather than, you know, paying people that are actually worth keeping to fix the problems. Nah, I shouldn't say that, because a lot of the people I work with are really good people. But most businesses nowadays aren't concerned with whether or not their employee is actually able to pay their rent or, you know, feed themselves. They only care if you're on time and that they can pay you as little as possible. And that's pretty much been the situation I've been in since the first time you guys had lunch with me 3 years ago. One after another place that I've worked has essentially stabbed me in the back in some way, shape, or form. Or laid me off. Or started me at full time in the case of, yes, I'm gonna fucking say it, Staples. And then came up with a bullshit excuse to demote me. Oh, even though you put the correct number of things up today, since we had the exact same number come in after you left, we're gonna make sure you're responsible for it even though you weren't here. Which is pretty much what happened. I'm not going to go too much into detail because, you know... Well, I didn't sign a non-disclosure agreement, so I can say it, I just don't feel like it. But yeah, basically, they screwed me over and started me at full-time, and the moment they would have had to have start giving me benefits, they came up with that bullshit excuse to demote me. Which is why I ended up having to look for another job, and why I'm now working for a different company, which I'm not going to mention because they're not paying me to advertise for them. But anyhow, these are the kind of things that I've had to deal with over the last 3 years, where the company I'm working for, or at least the people I'm working under, end up being complete and total ass baskets. Yeah, I just fucking made that shit up. And I end up suffering for it. In the last 3 years, I've had to go on to food stamps twice, just so that I wouldn't have to make the decision to buy groceries or pay my rent. No one should ever have to make that decision. Especially when they are trying to work, when they are trying to get more hours, regardless of where they work. People should not have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to survive. Getting a second job should literally only have to cover extra stuff. Like, oh hey, I want a prettier car, so I'm going to work in a second job to get more money. It shouldn't be, oh, hey, I want to be able to make my rent this month and not be eating nothing but, one Vienna sausage a day out of a 27-cent can so that I can, continue having a roof over my head. That should never, ever, ever fucking be the case. But it is for so many people, including myself. And people that aren't in the fucking position mock people who are trapped in what is called the cycle of poverty, where they can't get a better job because they can't afford a better education, and they can't afford a better education because they can't get a better job. You see how that's completely not fucking fair? I would literally have to work over 70 hours at minimum wage a week just to pay for I would have to work 70 some odd hours at a minimum wage job just to go to a community college. Do you know how fucking ridiculous that is? A community college. And that would be if I was lucky enough to get those kind of fucking hours. God forbid I actually wanted to do anything at the school, like take a fucking class, or, get one of the books. This has become more me complaining about the economy than us having lunch, and I apologize. I should be eating more. I can't think of anything else I want to talk about right now. Thank you for having lunch with me. I hope you are having an amazing day so far, and that trend continues. You have a phenomenal day. I will see you later on something that's probably more lighthearted. Bye!
Hadouken! Yay! Where the hell did those guys come from? I killed everyone!